Hi everyone, Jim here. Welcome to Mystery and Mayhem. Today we'll be talking about our first Occult Detective October book, Jules de Grandin. Jules de Grandin was featured in 90 short stories and weird tales back in the day, and he was so popular that he outdid Conan and Robert E. Howard in many polls of the day. And the stories were occult-driven, where Jules de Grandin and his associate, Dr. Trowbridge, would investigate certain occult problems that were brought to them, featuring ghosts, werewolves, otherworldly beings. He was very similar to Sherlock Holmes in many ways because he had a housekeeper, Mrs. Nora McGinnis, and his friend, Dr. Trowbridge, who assisted him in every case. But not every case was paranormal. There were some cases that would start out as possibly paranormal, but it turned out to be very earthly driven. His stories have been reprinted many times. In these editions, I think there was 6 of them. The Adventures of Jules de Grandin, the Casebook of Jules de Grandin, the Devil's Bride, the Hellfire Files of Jules de Grandin, and the Skeleton Closet of Jules de Grandin, and this one, the Horror Chambers of Jules de Grandin. So he's very much set back in the 30s, which accomplishes my first week of Occult Detective October for classic pre-1960s Occult Detective. So yeah, I'm going to read that this week, and I will let you know how it goes. The back of the book says, "The occult Hercule Poirot. Only Jules de Grandin could hope to save a house full of beautiful young girls forced to wear hideous golden masks while performing unspeakable acts of degradation for their fiendish master." There was always a good splice of sex thrown into these stories, from what I understand. A pair of lovers turned into puppets of evil by a satanic father who reached out for them from beyond the grave. A woman hellishly attacked by a dark oriental spirit that could only be encountered by American Indian magic. The victims of a ghoulish monster from the mysterious Middle East who fed on human blood and devoured human souls. Jules de Grandin never faced more horrifying dangers or rose to greater heights of occult omnipotence than in these and other chilling cases that comprise his ultimate casebook of uncanny adventures. So yeah, I'm looking forward to reading that. And I will let you know next week what I thought of those. And I cheated a little bit last week. I started and finished reading Jim Butcher, Proven Guilty. Now, my mistake was that I started with number 8. This was number 8 in the series. I should have started with number 1, because there's a lot of events and characters and history thrown in here that references other stories. It's just a cog in the wheel of a bigger series. Even the climax, it wasn't just wrapping up this story. He threw in characters and events that set up the next book, or probably the book after, one or the other. So he's weaving a larger tapestry here, and I can't say as I really got into it that much, but again, that was probably my own fault because I started in the middle of the series as I did, and I should have known better. And as I'm reading it, I kind of got the impression that I had read him before. I might have read one of these books years ago. As I said, my son was into them, and but then again, I could be mixing it up with the TV series too. They had the Dresden Files TV series. Maybe that's why this all looked very familiar to me. But yeah, I'll have to give that series another chance. Maybe try Stormfront, the first in the series. And he's supposed to be a private eye there wasn't a lot of private eye stuff going on in it. I mean, it just right out of the gate, it was starting with the magic stuff, and it was like heavy magic stuff. It's not like just, just a regular PI guy and he comes across something paranormal that he has to figure out. He's a full blown wizard, Harry Dresden, and he's a warden in the council, a member of the council of wizards. And, there's the white court and the summer court, like in the land of fairy, and there's vampires, there's all kinds of stuff. And there was a lot going on in this book without not a lot really happening, if that makes sense. I mean, I didn't really get into it until, God, I was more than halfway through the book, and when it was leading into the conclusion and the climax of the story, which was very exciting. Him and his friends and his half brother, and had to storm this the land of Never Never, which is in the land of fairy, and it's he had to storm the castle of Queen Mob, the Winter Queen, and it was exciting, and I finally got into it there, but it took a while. So yeah, that's that. I just wanted to share with you the book I read last week for Occult Detective October, and the book I'll be reading this week for the first tag for pre-1960s Occult Detective October. So yeah, I hope you're all doing well. I just wanted to update you real quick. So take care, keep reading.